Hi, the 7.65 Parabellum or 30 Luger is derived from the 7.63 Mauser, which we covered in an earlier video. Well, to be exact, they are both derived from the 7.62 Borchardt, which is dimensionally identical to the 7.63 Mauser. The Parabellum case has been cut from 25 to 21.6 millimeters. Commercial ammunition is available at least from PPU and Fiocchi. I have a box of PPU here. It is intolerably expensive, 40 to 50 euros a box, where I live. So it makes sense to reload. Both PPU and Fiocchi have a 93 grain full metal jacket bullet. According to their own data, the muzzle velocities are between 375 and 390 meters per second. The base of the case is the same as in the 7.63 Mauser and the later 9mm Parabellum, which of course is directly derived from the 7.65 Parabellum. So you can use the 9mm conversion kit, shell plate number 5 and locator buttons number 3 if you have a Dillon press, or the standard shell holder number 19 if you use some other press. When you resize cases, pay attention to the correct headspace. You may find it difficult to find a 7.65 Parabellum cartridge gauge, but as with the Mauser and the Tokarev, you can use the chamber of your pistol as one. What you need in addition are the dies. I have a 3-die set made by Lee. It includes an expander, a seating/crimping die, and a resizing die. Theoretically, since the 7.65 cartridge is so close to the 7.63 Mauser, you could use the Mauser dies for expanding, seating, and crimping. However, at least in a Dillon press, you cannot bring the Mauser dies low enough to engage the much shorter Parabellum case. So we will use dedicated dies. There is another complication. The Lee expander is of course not compatible with the Dillon powder system, which we want to use for charging the cases. So we must put the expander somewhere else. I have installed it to station 1, where we would normally have the resizing die. But as I have resized and deprimed the cases earlier, station 1 is now free for the expander. If you have a Lee press, or if you have some other charging system at your disposal, you can naturally ignore all of this. Let us go through the components. We have spent PPU cases, CCI small pistol primers, and Vihtavuori N320 powder. We will use HN copper-plated lead bullets, 86 grains. Exactly the same that we used in our Mauser and Tokarev cartridges. And again, we will try both 309 and 311 bullets. I have been told that the larger bullet is optimal for Lugers with an original German barrel, including my own individual, whereas the smaller bullet is better for pistols that have been refitted with a Finnish barrel by Tikkakoski. With the 309 bullet, I use 4.2 grains of powder, and with the 311 bullet, 4.4 grains. Note that the latter is exactly the same that we put in our Mauser cartridges. The cartridge overall length is 29.1 millimeters. As with the Mauser, no tight crimp is required, just enough to get rid of the flare. I have an alternative recipe for the 7.65. I found 93 grain full metal jacket bullets by PPU. I assume they are the same bullets PPU uses in their factory ammunition. The bullet has a crimp groove which pretty much determines the seating depth. The cartridge overall length is 29.5 millimeters. I haven't found exact load data for this bullet, so I have been experimenting. 4.6 grains of Vihtavuori N340 seems to be the absolute minimum on which the pistol cycles more or less reliably. But that of course depends on your gun.